All right. Welcome, everybody, to the SEO Vault, episode 196. Today, it's going to be me, Michael Milas, and Vijosa. So we have somebody from our internal team that we're going to interview, and we're going to try to give you some insights as to what they see from their end. Of course, her being somebody that is working deeply, I guess, in the actual field. So to start out, I just want to quickly remind everybody, we do publish on a variety of different podcast platforms. So if you do have a different medium that you want to use, like YouTube or something like that, you can certainly find our recordings there. We are now on the pre-recorded structure. So there's going to be, a bunch of new topics being brought about, but you're not going to find any sort of live stream anymore. So just a reminder there. We have a few brand updates to announce regarding a future sale and just some internal workings that are going on. But we will be also talking about a little bit about news and different questions that we've gotten over the last week. So now, before I get into brand updates and all that usual stuff, I want to shift things over here to Vjosa. So can you tell us about what your role is in Web 20 Ranker? Yeah, I guess that would be a place to start. So yeah, what do you do within Web 20 Ranker, and how do you like the job right now?
All right. Hey guys, so thanks for having me. What I'm currently doing is managing the GBP department here at Web 20 Ranker. So how I started was initially as a local SEO consultant, so as a liaison between the agencies and Web 20 Ranker. And then after that, moved on to the GBP department and started managing the department. So it's been a while since I'm probably a year now doing that.
So what is your official role now, if you could tell everybody?
It's the GBP management manager, probably. That should be covering it.
Right, yeah, I guess there's a lot of different ways to put it, but
yeah, you lead all the GMB, GBP, local strategy, implementation, the team there. You have a GMB with us, Vosa's leading that with the team. So yeah. Manager, I think, I love the word manager, but it kind of diminishes what we do here because we're strategists, we're managers, we're automation, implemented. We do so much besides just like, oh, I manage the team, GMB team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot.
Well, I'm wondering, how did you get started with SEO? Like, how did you start in the SEO industry?
Well, I started probably almost 10 years ago now. So how I started was working at a local SEO agency here in my country, which we were doing SEO for clients in Europe. So that's how I started with content marketing, SEO content marketing. I did that for probably around 2 years. And then after that, worked in another agency. So this was basically how I started with content marketing. Then I was a team lead and slowly progressed until I was approached in LinkedIn by Web 20 Ranker, and that's how I started here since almost 3 years now.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I think. So did you say you spent a lot of time with content development at first?
Yeah, I did spend a lot of time doing content development. So we did build a lot of huge websites, ranking pretty good, still currently. For European clients, basically initially, and then later on I moved into the US market as well and started working on content marketing for that as well. So
do you have a oh, I was gonna say, do you have a favorite niche to write about?
It depends. I did go through a lot of niches, so I'm not sure. I'm not specific. It doesn't matter a lot to me. I like exploring different types of niches. So yeah, pretty much. I like learning new stuff, so it's not an issue. I'm not so fixated on one niche in particular. I couldn't really pinpoint one yet.
I guess that's probably a good thing, right? With the amount of things that we work on, and just the wide variety of everything.
Yeah,
somebody that wants to learn, I guess, is, as far as your fulfillment, it's such a crucial thing. Even if you work in one niche, right? Always wanting to learn new things, discover maybe new topics and everything to write about, but
with the volume that we do, I wouldn't be surprised if Vosa likes a new obscure like watercraft, aircraft rentals, or hovercraft rentals, or something that's like just completely that we don't normally get. Probably that's more interesting because we get what doctors, lawyers, home
Yeah,
repair, home roofing. Like a roofing, I can't pretend like a roofing client is an exciting client to work on for me. It just doesn't get my blood pumping. You know what I mean? Yeah, metal shingles.
That's the yeah. I feel the same way.
Although there are still kind of interesting things that you could learn maybe for yourself later on. You never know how you want to use some things, but yeah, some niches are not as exciting for sure. I do agree on that.
So now I want to ask you, was there something that you came in and changed immediately within the process? I want to ask you that, and then also afterwards, just curious as to what you might want to kind of do next.
Yeah, so the first things that I think I started changing would be just implementing more of client reports that we were providing. So just I think probably also doing the liaison position kind of helped me understand that the clients are looking for something like that they can use with their end clients. So I started working on that, just triage reports, quarterly reports, quick win reports, just to find a kind of a format where the clients could see all of the issues that the campaigns had initially, and then the results we achieved and how we did that and things like this. So that would be some of the processes that I went in and implemented right away, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, and we definitely have a much better, I guess, reporting regimen now. So I've taken a look at I guess there's the two sides. If you just get a monthly campaign or if you get the add-on for further analytics. And I'm definitely impressed by what I've seen. So it's great job on that. But if anybody didn't know, we have two different offerings, whether you get an add-on or not, you can still get a dashboard created for you. So a lot of that came there from Yosa. So what was I? Oh, right. And then you mentioned your role as a liaison. So I guess what a lot of people wouldn't know is you actually worked very closely with a few different very large businesses, like franchise businesses. So I guess that experience definitely must have helped with putting together a report, because a lot of times if you ask people that are always just on the fulfillment side and they never actually speak with the client, you might be missing the connection, right? Between, we know what's impressive for us, but the client might see it completely different. They want to see something else, or maybe they just want to see a simpler look. So that's definitely a powerful thing to establish, the way that you do reporting for your agency. So what would you like to do next? Do you think that there's something else, and it doesn't have to be within Web 20, but just within, I guess, your career as an SEO, is there anything that's in your mind that you want to do next as far as a new process or an improvement to a process that you think is important?
Yeah, I guess there's always room for improving processes as we go on. So probably would be looking at improving any of the strategy processes that we have. So things like this would be something that I'm very looking forward to doing in kind of the near future. So yeah.
So like the step-by-step optimization. So I think that's pretty much, and I can definitely see even a very established agency, there's, I guess, changes that happen, especially now with AI tools. But if you're ever changing up your stack at all, if you're ever changing up any parts of your process, there's definitely room for further optimization within each step, which is like looking at the individual people, looking at how long does it take to go from this step to this one? Was there anything in there that could be sped up or optimized? Which I guess, and that's a lot of the work that we're all doing together, right? But the way I think of it is I remember learning about I guess how the Ford assembly line system, how he would come in and really look at every single step and how people were going in between them to get better, better efficiency with time and also bringing down costs. And I think that's really what you're kind of talking about, going that deep into the processes to find inefficiencies.
Yeah.
But outside of that, outside of getting in the weeds, is there anything outside of what you're doing, as far as what you think is what do you think is important for SEOs to be looking at for the future? What do you think they should have in the front of their minds right now?
Well, I think probably just looking at understanding a lot more about how the AI is working, how search engines operate, and things like this would be something to look for in the future. And then trying to see how you can probably better optimize for the future in this type of regard.
Yeah, and I think you had been talking a lot about the search generative experience that just came out not too long ago. Um, Wondering what your thoughts are on that. I was sharing a little bit in the group, I believe, just because at least for service specific queries like local business services, I wasn't really seeing any real development going on there. I saw a lot of helpful additions to queries like when you're looking for information, like doing research, that I think is going to be revolutionary as far as saving time, like learning new things. But what's your opinion on that platform so far?
Yeah, as far as local SEO, it does seem like it does pull a lot more than just the current three businesses that are being pulled now in the local map pack. So maybe there's a bit more room for other businesses to start appearing there. Then the one thing that really I think that would be like of highest notice for me would be just the fact that the reviews are getting a lot more weight, which is not the most recent news, but still you see that there's a lot more weight added to reviews. So I think that for businesses, it should be very important at this point to look into getting the right reviews, seeing how they can have a process to get their best reviews, and maybe not being afraid to kind of direct them to use some of the keywords, but obviously not keyword stuff the reviews, but at least include some of that in those reviews. So that would be something that is very important. And then I see that also other reviews from other third-party sites are being pulled in, but I am a bit suspicious of this because I think that probably Google will be looking at only showing Google reviews more and not send users to third-party sites or something. So these would
Okay.
be some things that I saw in the local pack. Whereas for organic, it's interesting that for different search queries, you may get businesses that are not ranked in the top 3 positions or just the first page, but businesses that rank on further pages of Google, but still have kind of given a complete answer to user search queries, and that gives them a chance to be appearing there.
Yeah, I
So
could definitely see that kind of almost like being more fair to the newcomers, new businesses, where it's like, hey, maybe you're not super authoritative on the main queries, but we can tell that this user was searching about this specific niche query and then followed up with their service query looking for a business that can handle it. And maybe because you were ranking well for that one, you end up grabbing that, that real estate. I could see that happening. I'm wondering, I want to get an opinion from Mike on what you said about the social, like when it pulls other reviews from other social platforms, because that's definitely a big one where a lot of people have asked me, well, I can only point users really to just one, or at least in a meaningful way where I can expect them to do it. So they'll ask me, should I be doing Google reviews? Should I do Yelp? Should I do Facebook? Like, how many do I focus on? So I want to ask you, Mike, what you think about that, because that would definitely change things up if they decide to just not point you to other platforms.
So as far as like an actual strategy to like generate reviews on other platforms, the one thing I used to do was, which everyone does, gated reviews, right? Where you like ask for a review and then it takes them to a page review. But we actually had like a list page that you could like select your favorite platform if you're a Yelp user, if you're a Google user, if you're I think there was one or two others back then we had. But then we would kind of just give the client the ability to, kind of go wherever they normally would go to leave a review. We did notice though that we didn't get as many reviews then because there was obviously like a drop off at that page as opposed to just bringing them directly to a place with a review. So we tried different things there as far as even like supplying info on what type of things to mention in the review, stuff that Google says you're not supposed to do, by the way. And then also, what was the other thing we tried? We also tried giving like discounts, like, giving like get a 5% off, 10% off, cashback, whatever for each review. Again, another thing that I don't think you're technically allowed to do with Google. But essentially it became like like a landing page where we were trying to get the client to leave reviews on various platforms for different things. Um, as far as like getting it to help though, I think the best thing we did was round robin it and just switch between. I think we just mostly did like Yelp and Google. If you can generate third party reviews on all your platforms that provide reviews though, like essentially what you're doing is you're adding content to that page. So if it's relevant about services experience, and that can be, cross-referenced with other platforms, like if you have a user like if you have a bad review, sometimes that user will go and leave it on every single platform. And that's good for Google to understand that user experience. But if you had that with every review you had, that would definitely amplify that effect. So honestly, I have no like really best solution for getting reviews on. It's still a conversation I have today with certain clients. And usually the main thing that we come up or that I address is the fact that like not everyone uses every platform. And they're not going to go make a Yelp account to leave a review if they're not on Yelp. And there's a good chance they're on Google, so that's the easiest place to send them. But again, it's that conversation that we have often. Usually we send them straight to Google. We'll give them an option to go to Yelp on that page as well or something. So
So so I wanted to before I wrap back around to the other thing Yosa said there that I thought was interesting. So I guess, yeah, the bottom line is, I mean, the Google reviews are going to affect the Google rankings, I guess with a primary or a more direct connection versus there's Yelp and there's other niche ones that are also going to contribute. So I guess what we would know is definitely focus the efforts on Google, but depending on the niche, like maybe with a roofer or a lot of home service, honestly, a lot of contractors, if they get reviews on Yelp and they look really good on Yelp, they're going to get traffic through there. And that's going to help them just from that. But also reviews on Yelp itself is something that Google would be looking for a top ranking competitor in that niche. So yeah, there's different levels, I guess, of priority. The best one would be trying to find something that works best for your niche. So maybe I'm kind of siding with what Mike said about the round robin. Because yeah, if you give people a lot of options, they might bounce off. And then, but if you round robin, you can narrow down on the ones that you've decided are the best for that niche. Because there's going to be, I mean, for home service, Google, Yelp, but
yeah,
pretty easy ones. Attorneys, then you
well,
got to
you can
have
also
adjustment.
do what was it? I think we had, oh, that was right. Like we used to, people obviously on Angie's list and whatever, we used to track where they found us as well. So we could actually just tie that into the automation and send them to the place that they say they got the lead from. I forgot about that one. That was
That would
probably,
be huge.
yeah,
That would
that
be
was
huge.
the and that's super easy to do nowadays with Zapier, Pabbly, or anything. If you
Mm,
have that info, then you can just set up a simple automation that goes through and says, and if you don't have that info, then it just defaults to Google. Um,
that
but
would definitely increase your conversions there.
yeah, that's
That's a good
probably your
one.
best. But a lot of companies don't have that info. That's the biggest problem. A lot of companies don't either. They track it and it's extremely inaccurate, or they just don't track it at all. So
And I'll tell you this also for that on that thought, I had a long time ago, I worked with a fence company and I noticed they never had any Yelp reviews. They started asking for Yelp reviews and they had a few on there. I think what happened was it wasn't just a conversion thing. I believe what happened was they ended up organically ranking on page one of Yelp for their service query because all of a sudden the dude's like, hey, like I've been open for 30 years. I've never had people call me up saying they found me on Yelp. And just getting the reviews on there, so just don't forget there's other platforms that are getting traffic. Definitely check which ones those are for the niche because they're going to vary. But putting a little bit of effort there can definitely add a lot to the campaign.
I completely forgot about Facebook too. We used to promote reviews on the Facebook page as well because everyone has Facebook. So that was always like when we would try to get in there. It's like, oh, support us on Google, but be sure to leave a review on Facebook or whatever. 'Cause there's a lot of those like really popular platforms. Like I wouldn't send everyone to like can you leave reviews on LinkedIn? It's honestly been a
You
while
can
since
do
I've done
recommendations.
recommendations. So yeah, there's things you can do that I've never actually done that with LinkedIn or anything. But yeah, don't forget there's really popular platforms, and I can't think of other ones off the top of my head.
Well, it depends on the niche because I know with attorneys, I'll tell them, okay, well, go get recommendations on Avo. Like, go get your buddy
Exactly.
from law school and like start posting stuff like that. Which it's another. It sucks trying to automate stuff on platforms that don't play nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those, especially some of those niches where like they use well, attorneys I think is one, but there's some others too where they have very like everyone in the industry, real estate agents use like one content management system, like one interface, and it doesn't work with like anything. My mind's going blank right now, but there's a few actually industries I've worked with where it's like, why does everyone in this industry use this? We could do something better in like 12 months, like seriously.
well, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
hopefully that gives you some pointers there how to put together your process. But so the other thing Viosa said that I wanted to come back to is her speculation on whether Google will keep serving or maybe serve more or serve less other platforms that have reviews for the corresponding business, putting it in their knowledge panel. So I guess, yeah, I don't know where I land on. I haven't really thought about that specifically of what's more valuable for Google to give further credibility that helps people stay on the platform or prevent people from even clicking on somebody else's competing platform. I'm wondering what you think, Mike, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's best.
Sorry, what was that? I missed the end part of it.
So what's best for Google, and what do you think Google would want to do? Keep using the review count. So like if you're a roofer, they might show up at the bottom of your knowledge panel. Oh, they also have 5-star reviews from Yelp and from Home Advisor and from House. What do you think? Because Viosa was thinking that she thinks that they'll probably stop doing that as often.
What I see in the future is probably, to be honest, AI taking over that, giving you a summary on this platform. They have this rating and this average. People had mentioned this and this, but some common complaints were this, this, and this. And it'll just because what was the article I was reading the other day or so? I think was it Google that was going to do that. Use AI because the thing is when there's like 750 reviews with an average 4 out of 5 star, you can't read all those reviews, but to be able to process all that information and cross-reference and give like a quick summary of all those reviews with AI, I do see that being the future. And obviously you could still have the option to go and read the reviews individually and stuff, but yeah, I would rather consider every review left versus the 10 or 20 that I could possibly read and retain and cross-reference information from. So I do see that being essentially the future.
Hmm.
It's going to be AI. Yeah.
Well, it definitely would help people to get that information because yeah, I can see at least I've never clicked on those links myself when I had to buy a service of any kind. I've used them just for like research on other people's campaigns, but I don't remember ever deciding myself on using a service and using that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But okay, so my final question to Viosa here before we go into everything else, what would be, if you could give one suggestion to agencies or business owners doing their SEO themselves, what would it be? If you could just pick one.
Oh, I got a lot of things going on in my head right now, but probably just before what I would think would be great is before you get started with working with an agency, I think it's a great chance to also have like a good conversation, understand a lot of the important information for the business. So kind of probably just the onboarding process would be helpful in understanding everything that the business offers, getting the whole idea in total before you kind of get started with deciding on what to do for this specific client. So
Okay, I like that one.
I've noticed that sometimes it's this that lacks, and with a few clients, I did notice something like this, and yeah, I believe that should be something that would help.
Yeah, I can really see how it happens too. It's like we don't, as a agency owner, you probably don't mean to mess up the performance of a campaign, but it's also like if you're super busy and people are just like, hey, I want to start, it's pretty easy to just like invoice them. It's like, all right, guys, like go.
I see that sometimes this kind of causes the issue of setting the user, I mean the expectation somehow a little bit. So I think probably these two kind of work together.
Okay, so yeah, improving your onboarding process and probably, I guess, guided towards setting the expectations. Because yeah, that's definitely huge. There's countless situations I can remember where the client was signed on, and then it's like, hey, you have a really either you don't. There's situations where the city's so small, the service is so niche. It's like I don't think SEO is even what you needed. but there's also like the other side of it where they definitely need the service, but a critical issue is there that had to be talked about first. Like, oh, you have 5 business websites for the same business, or you have a really your GBP is not compliant. Like there's a lot of things that could definitely mess with the campaign, but that is I guess that would be a really good suggestion as one thing to look at, which is going to affect pretty much the whole timeline of the performance of that campaign. So thank you for answering our questions, Vyosa. And now we're going to shift over to the more typical points that we like to cover here. So first, starting with brand updates, what's important happening within Web20 Ranker. So the next sale is coming up. So the 4th of July is when we're going to have the next one. And we're going to be changing up how the prizes work this time. So the way that is going to happen, so I don't have too many specifics yet, but the top spenders within this sale, they will be able to unlock a private in-person, I'm guessing this is a ticket to an in-person mastermind. Yeah. So looks like you'd be able to get a ticket for an in-person mastermind, including Mark, Nate, and myself. So I'm guessing when it says
available.
So I was gonna say, Mike also, if he can make it, we won't promise Mike, but this is the, I guess,
a hot commodity. So yeah,
this is
you
private
might
access.
get Mike there. No, it just depends on when it is. But yeah, good opportunity. I'll probably be there. That's
but
pretty awesome.
Private access to speak to at least the 3 of us. Hopefully, Mike also. I'll try to get him in there. But that would be so that's how we're going to run the sale. So if you're trying to get that type of exclusive access for yourself, for your agency, even if you're a business owner, I guess it would still apply. Definitely try to check out the rest of the details that come out from marketing and everything else that we're going to post. But that's what you can look forward to for the next month. So another important update. We've got 2 more. Yeah, we've got 2 more. One is the quarterly 3 Webby. So we do a webinar every 3 months to kind of give you a big update, kind of like a state of the union, but not entirely. Just trying to give you a big topic in front of you so that you know what to change with your current processes, what's working, maybe what's not, and any sort of further suggestions from then on. And it is a live. We are doing live this time, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So it's a live webinar. So for people that are there live, you can ask questions specifically too. So make sure to actually be there in person because it's way more, I would say it's more valuable to be in person than to watch the recording.
Well, things are changing so fast now. That's these quarterly webbies. Like I know AI is going to come up, what you can do, what you can't do, what's helping people, what's hurting people. So yeah, those quarterly webbies, I definitely suggest everyone get on. I'll definitely be on those, and and help out. Victor's probably going to lead them, so it's going to be an awesome time. Definitely join us for those.
So check for the link. It should be in the description. It's Web20ranker/quarterly-SEO-webinar. And that's where you can find the latest up-to-date information on the Webbies as far as past recordings as well. So the last...
You also get some nice resources from the webinars, always great valuable stuff being shared. So yeah, great opportunity.
Awesome. So the last brand update that I would want to mention, which I guess we've already mentioned this across the groups, but the local SEO course 3.0 is live. It did get updated within the last week also. So that is the update for this week. But if you haven't seen the course yet, definitely go back and watch it. It is set up to where you can jump across the videos now, so that you're not forced to watch from the beginning. So in case you want to skip around right to the new stuff, you can do that. In the past week, I added my ultimate local service business structure. So I've been getting a lot of questions from people, whether audits or just personal messages, asking me about the recommended structure for their website. Now, this is really important regardless of it being a new business or an existing one, because a lot of people, they're kind of adopting the structure somebody ran with. And it's good to also know like a kind of like a default to back to reference, I guess, in case you want to actually go ahead with a restructure. But there's definitely a lot of value there, whichever situation you're in. I tried to put in all of my experience as far as the different structures that you might want to use to be able to work with this ultimate one. So again, there's default ways to follow it, and I give you insight on as to how to customize it further based on your needs too. So check that out and give us your feedback because it's always appreciated.
I wanted to add real quick too, because you are adding videos as questions come up, things change. This isn't like a one and done course where Victor threw together some videos and just threw it in there and now jump in and watch the videos and learn some, like, get a membership, sign up. There's going to be updated training as things happen, things change. So that there's a lot to look forward to there, not just what we have now. And so, yeah, it's 100% free. So I'm not trying to pitch you on a paid course like, oh, we update it frequently, so pay the $2.99 lifetime. No, it's 100% free. Just go make a free account. You won't regret it. I guarantee it. So
thank you, Mike. And yeah, if you have further suggestions as to what to add, definitely send them our way, because I guess it's like a big community project, right? We're sharing the information, sharing the secrets, letting everybody in on this.
Exactly.
All right, that's it for the brand updates. So let's take a look at, this is a content update, sort of like a brand update. If you haven't read the new blog post that Lasha wrote, definitely go ahead and take a look at that. So battling the behemoth of AI for prime Google business profile management. All of the thoughts from Lasha as to what he's seeing and what he recommends to pay attention to moving forward. So I read through that, and there's a lot of good tips as to, again, what are marketers using right now. So if you're not caught up to the use cases for AI that work really well right now, take a look there and make sure you are up to date. And again, send us your feedback. I know Lasha loves talking about AI. Mike loves talking about AI. So if there's anything else specifically you'd want to see as far as a specific use case, let us know. So now let's go right into the news. So we've got a list of curated topics that we think are important to talk about over the last week, starting with this one here for Bing chat testing image recognition and visual search. So Microsoft is testing image recognition and visual search features in Bing chat now. This is where you can upload an image and actually ask Bing chat questions about the image that you put in there. I love to see this type of progress because it gives way more function to it, to not just rely on its current model, but kind of feeding your own information to give it some type of a path to understand. Now, I guess I would say, Mike, I'm wondering what you think, but it seems to me right now, as far as the people leading or pioneering things with AI, it seems nowadays a lot of platforms are starting to shift from just a content model to, oh, well, now you can insert images, now you can insert voice and other stuff. I'm wondering what you're seeing, because I've noticed on places like YouTube or other places like Reddit, all of a sudden there's a lot of content being produced from people that are using like the voice search or image search. Like I know one example, I've seen a lot of people, it's going viral nowadays. There's a lot of like AI raps being made,
Mhm.
which is all
Yeah,
the same.
it's
It's like the same technology, isn't it?
yeah, it's so what a lot of people in our industry, I don't think fully understand about AI is that it's been in development for like over a decade. What we're seeing now is kind of just the front end use cases, like first being developed. But the technology exceeds way more than, oh, we can see what's in an image, or we can generate content or follow commands and write code or replace coding within a process. Like those are all very basic to be honest use cases for AI. So what we are starting to see is these very more defined use cases that are slowly going to be implemented into different industries in different ways. So yeah, image is a huge one. Video is going to be a huge one. Being able to upload a video, being able to create a video, generate a stream of essential images, right? A video, multiple images to create a motion picture. And then it all comes down to AI understanding what's in an image, understanding how things would move within an image, which we already see apps that'll like make photos talk and sing and do things like that. Um, so yeah, we are going to see a major heavy shift from, oh, people are using AI to write content to people are using AI to generate full videos and movies and
Songs and
yeah,
all sorts.
whole video games. We're going to have whole worlds generated by AI with NPCs that aren't programmed to do a certain thing, but they're trained by the AI with a backstory and
Oh
a
yeah.
history, so they know how to. So they respond certain ways when you ask certain questions, or get defensive, or try and hide something, and will give it up if you ask certain things in a certain way, or so yeah, that's the future of AI, honestly, and we're gonna see it accelerate exponentially over the next, well, from here on out.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
starting to see like the start of now, like there's so much content now as a result from it. And yeah, like big companies, I know Bethesda, one of like huge publisher, is now using AI for what you specifically said, NPCs, other things that would have taken a lot of money to produce from writers, which might actually work better if it's very tailored to the user in that use case with AI. But yeah, and definitely I'm seeing all these people just making use of it right now, right? So there's going to be a lot of opportunity coming out about not just not just YouTube silly things that people are doing, where it's like you grab a rap song and you do, oh, sing it as if it were SpongeBob or something, and you just publish that and get easy views. Sure, you could do that, but I guess yeah, starting to see soon enough, starting to see like major efforts, major funding behind big projects making use of it, I think is going to be awesome. But
oh, get ready for the lawsuits too. There's
oh yeah,
massive amounts of lawsuits with deep fakes and
because now with the music, it's like, wait, is that okay for you to do? Grab somebody else's song? Because
is
there's
it?
already there's already a level of that happening, of people
Yeah,
sampling and using AI to like produce new samples, or produce a drum part that fits the rest of the song that you wrote or something. So it's going to get interesting, and we're seeing it really right now really happen. But
yeah.
so okay, so another topic here. Bard gets so Bard gets lens, which detects skin conditions. So it looks like even on Google's side, they're also going further into development with you being able to upload images and having some sort of a use off of it. And that's another thing. I see services. There's already apps with a lot of downloads of, oh, you take a picture of your plant and it identifies the plant and the disease it may or may not have, so on. And like what you said with the pictures, there's already services online. And that's probably a good opportunity for people looking for new niches too. There's already services where it's like, oh, you upload your old relative's picture and you can see it stock. You know what I'm saying? You upload content from them, all of a sudden you have a really good memorabilia. There's already people going crazy with this stuff, so hopefully
Well,
it's
we have cameras and sensors and things the size of a grain of rice. Like you got a stomach problem, you'll just probably swallow a pill that connects to your Bluetooth on your phone, and that thing will go through your whole system and diagnose every single problem along the way with using AI and multiple sensors and cameras and things. Like the medical industry is definitely going to explode with AI for doctors to be able to look at things and draw conclusions based on very small, not small pieces of data, but data that they necessarily wouldn't be able to identify if they didn't have an AI looking at that image and recognizing those things, especially as we get more like on molecular levels and things like that. Science in general is going to I said, it's a lot of amazing things are going to happen aside from us automating blog content. So
So another news point I wanted to bring up that actually wasn't on here. What did you guys think about that new Apple I already forgot the name.
the
The new Apple.
VR had the
Well, they
spatial
don't.
computing.
They're not
Spatial
calling it.
computing.
They are not calling it VR. They are
No,
not
it's
calling it
spatial
VR.
computing, which is, I think, a really smart move because they're essentially trying to take the VR AR headset and turn it into an extension of your home computer. It's like, having like a keyboard or a special joystick or something to extend the functionality of your PC, of your iPhone, of your iPad. And that is very smart of them. Very, very smart. So, price tag a little steep. They're going to struggle with that once they're going to get more affordable versions out. People are going to buy them because people love Apple. And they probably are going to I believe they're going to set the pace for AR, VR, just like they did with MP3 players. I used to work at Circuit City. People would come in and say, I want an Apple, an iPod, and I would show them MP3 players, and they say, no, I don't want an MP3 player, I want an iPod. And we're going to have the same thing with, I want a spatial computer. I want a augmented reality VR headset. I want a functional computer that I can strap to my face and do stuff with.
Yeah, and definitely from the marketing standpoint, I noticed they didn't say AR, they didn't say, augmented reality, they didn't say metaverse. They didn't say
Nope.
any of that. They're trying to really separate entirely. And again, like what you said, lead the way. I think that they are kind of the company poised to do that now, especially because, Meta, Facebook kind of stumbled with it. So
Facebook put a bad taste in everyone's mouth about the metaverse.
yeah, so I think that's definitely something to look out for as far as development or where they go from here as to what they're trying to do. And then like what you said, Mike, the price being steep, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a meme when I saw somebody share a picture and it said it was $3,500. I'm like, wow.
Well, I read an
Uh,
article about it, and the truth is it fits right within their pricing model for the phone, the tablet, the computer, and everything's a step up. Like Apple's very, very good about the way they structure their offerings with the amount of memory, the amount of disk space. Like there's a reason why you can't shove an SD card in an Apple because that would destroy their whole pricing model
yeah.
overnight. Exactly. So it's actually priced perfectly within kind of their pricing model. They will eventually have one that's probably around 1800 because that's kind of the lower end of the Macs and the PCs and the tablets. Not tablets too, but literally if you take all their products and line them up price wise, you'll notice that it's
It
like,
does fit. And
yeah.
this device, it's its own computer, by the way, has an M1 chip in it. So that makes a lot of sense. But I guess I brought it up because I'm thinking, or at least in my opinion, I think this is gonna or they're gonna end up leading a little bit of this is what visual search is supposed to look like. This is what the proper, clean looking experience should look like. Because I mean that's something Google is messing up. That's what all of them are messing with. Bing and Google trying to make that go-to platform. So
Well, they
I'm
want it to be a device you keep on your head is the main thing. It's not something you put on, have an experience, play a game, use an app, and then you take it off. You put it on and you use it while you're using your cell phone, using your computer. You get up and go to the bathroom and you're still spatial computing. I don't know, but the point is that it's not. They're only partnering with AR and VR companies, like you said. They have not mentioned that as far as a marketing for the product itself. So watch it. It's going to be huge, especially like you said in search. The question is though, does everyone get an Apple device and then use Google on their Apple device? I know
That's another great
that's what
question.
everyone I
Because
know
what are they?
does.
Yeah, what are they gonna do to try to push Google out and what get the Apple stuff in? Ooh.
Exactly.
Well, I'll be looking out for their development there. I thought that was really cool stuff from them. So the last bullet point here, definitely a big one, and I saw a lot of people talking about this across different groups because it's a little bit controversial, I think, for them to do this. So Google's new search quality feedback form. So I guess you could try to report people before, but the regular way to do it wouldn't really let you report somebody for specifically, doing SEO in a spammy way or abusing whatever link structures, PVMs, whatever type of thing you might think is abuse. But now there's actual official form. So it says right at the top, report spammy, deceptive, or low quality web page. So, wondering what you guys think. I think it's definitely important now that there's so much more AI content in the mix. But the biggest, I guess, thing that's going around the forums is there's going to be a lot of white hat or really like very pure SEO. I don't know what to call them, like pure white hat SEOs that really don't look at anything questionable at all that are now going to try to report their competitors. What do you guys think?
You mean as far as AI reporting competitors because of AI?
Oh, well, no, I guess in any instance, like link building or what, mass page building.
Yes, content, I guess, was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Google's honestly gotten pretty good at handling that stuff themselves. Like, if you just build a mass page site, like now they don't index and stuff like they used to.
Oh yeah.
Um, and honestly, most of the times I've seen where people are reporting those types of things, they're um, especially niche specific to some degree. Some niches, it's like, yeah, if you are on page one with something that doesn't look legit, I can guarantee you're going to get flagged by one of the competitors. And there's some niches where it's just like, yeah, no one's going to notice, no one's going to care. If anything, they're going to look at like the competitors are going to look at it and be like, I want to do that. How come I can't?
Right.
How come I'm not on page one?
That's what I was thinking. I would say you probably should not be worried about your competitors doing this because you were able to do it before. So I guess, yeah, there'll be some more people that take advantage of this, but I personally doubt you can abuse it like that. I don't think they'll let you abuse it. I think if anything, this is their way to get a little bit better information, really crowdsource the use of other people helping them fix their platform, which is smart, but I guess I'm not worried about it. Vyosa, do you think?
The more accessibility Google gives to people, the less impact it has generally. Like they wouldn't just open it up if every person can just go flag something and have it removed or penalized or but I will step back from that, take one step back and say Google has made mistakes in the past and sometimes they've released functionalities that have gone completely wrong and destroyed a lot of things. So be aware. Just be aware it's happening. If something happens, at least you know there could be a reason why getting flagged has gone up or something. So,
Well, Vyosa, do you think that could be abused, the new form?
Probably could be abused for sure by different types of competitors if they would want to go that route. But I probably the main idea that I got was maybe just is like a form to help Google kind of learn a little bit more about processes and stuff. So that would be my kind of thought. But yeah, probably there would be a lot of kind of untrue or just competitors trying to screw somebody up.
Well, if you think that you've been hit by somebody abusing that, let us know. That would be interesting to look at. But okay, so that's it for the news for this episode. We have one question that we wanted to talk about in the local client takeover group, because we actually do have some good content to really support anybody else that might have this question. But we have a post from Tim Nettie. I'm having trouble ranking the landing pages on my client's website for keyword and city. The towns I'm targeting are very small, sometimes with zero competition for that keyword. So he has a few bullet points. A lot of pages never got indexed. Some of them that were previously indexed are now starting to get de-indexed. The content was manually written. He's saying no AI, which, whatever. URL structure, and he gives us a little bit of like some further information there. But he asks, does building a landing page for each location still work on local SEO like it used to, or was there a change I should be aware of? Yes, there is a change you should be aware of. I have a couple of old sites with that URL structure. Okay, so yeah, the URL structure, not a problem there, at least not in this situation. It doesn't look like messy or anything.
City
Is there a
pages
change?
got hit hard though.
Is there a page to be aware? Is there? Yeah, there is. You can't just go crazy with the page building. There has to be, I guess, a level of quality across the board. I want to shift over to Mike, but as far as what I would say of just the building of the location pages, I think if you so I think if you have a GBP for the client, then do it. But I've always limited that, with my work, as I'm not really trying to build mass pages for other cities unless you're actually going to put a GBP there. But I mean, I have my reasons, but I want to hear from Mike on this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when it was. I don't think it was only 3, 6 months ago even. I thought we talked about it here on the Vault. There was an update that essentially hit websites hard that had just those mass location pages built, especially like if you had like city service pages built for like so you had like 5 service pages in service in city for 5 different services across 50 different cities. And people were just like swapping out company name and information like that. The strategy that SEOs were saying for years, be careful, it's duplicate content, it's all this stuff. People say it doesn't work, it still works, but you have to be careful because we don't know when it's not. Well, Google hit that pretty
Yeah, here
hard
it is.
not too long ago. Yeah. So first of all, if you're going to make individual city pages, they should not be service targeted. That's the first thing that we started making shifts with. I mean, service targeted, but target it for all your services for that brand at that location. And it's 110% preferred to actually have a location in that area. So you're actually building out like but I understand that, we don't always have local listings and stuff. But you essentially want to make those location pages and then have service pages. But those location pages have to be unique, and not like unique in like just unique content. They have to offer something specific to the user in that location that is relevant.
And it varies from niche to niche too. Like,
Yeah.
what is he saying by that? Well, it kind of varies from niche to niche as to what is the difference from this city to that city. Are people searching for it differently? I guess at the end of the day, you got to do a competitor research to know, but there's definitely going to be variation from city to city if you use any sort of like a Surfer SEO tool or Quora tool. You'll definitely get variations from city to city. So there is something to search, even if you're not an expert in the niche.
Well, and even the content itself. So if like every page is like this service in city, this service in city, how do we do this service in city? For a masonry company that I was working with, for example, throughout the Chicagoland area, one of the more pertinent things was permits. Like what permits were required, what the township required for certain work to be done. And that actually offered value to those people in those locations. That was
Oh yeah.
not the same for every location. So it kind of justifies having individual city pages, right? Like essentially you could have one service area page if you service a whole area and all the things are the same across all those areas. There's no additional value to provide there just because you're like, even if you wanted to list the cities on that one page, that's the only value. You don't have to make 100 pages to provide additional value for those cities unless there is value to supply. And that's a more abstract understanding of kind of what shift they did. I'm sure it's a little more programmatic at this point, but with AI coming more prevalent, that will work less and less, guaranteed.
Yeah, so like what are they searching for with the changes? They're searching, or I guess what are they trying to promote? They're trying to promote people that are really sharing the value across these pages.
Valuable content.
So that's kind of like what you have to use to guide your decisions as to, should I make 100 city pages when this is a brand new website with no blog posts and no traffic? Or should I focus on, well, okay, well, they really have a GBP in this one city. Maybe I should bring traffic in first there, or maybe I should build out more pages to support this type of business. Because what I'm thinking of, because maybe I might not be able to say, okay, this number of pages is good for that type, this type of pages, this number is, I might not be able to say that, but if you look at the domain as a whole, and 90% of it is just different like location pages for a certain service, like that's not a valuable domain, I guess, right? And I'm wondering, how hard is it to rank something like that, especially with any level of competition? So I think it's really going to depend on the niche as to what all pages you can build that are going to serve value. So that's a more difficult question to try to answer as, you know, somebody that has knowledge for your niche. But otherwise, I would say, especially for this person, manual content creation, that's definitely good. I'm wondering how many pages you did, because I'm wondering how much of this domain entirely is just these pages, right? Because yes, what has changed is you're going to have trouble with indexation. So that's actually normal to hear with situations like this, especially if you're not building any links or any types of mentions at all. If there's no citations of whatsoever, there's no profiles. There's just not much of a reason for Google to spend the resources to crawl your website again, or to put it on their index. Like, that costs resources. So I'd want to take a look at the specific case and see if there's more value to give. But off of this situation, so what was the other part to it? So the other part was URL structure. Oh, the other part, which I thought was important, you said it's a very small location or very small towns. Okay, well, if you're using SEO tools, no matter how good they are, like Ahrefs or SEMrush, if it's a really small city, like let's say less than 30,000 population, you're probably not gonna see the city-specific service queries coming up on those tools as far as like new keywords ranking, because there's very little amount of data. So I know Ahrefs, they just won't serve that to you. SEMrush might have a little bit more like leniency on like what they accept, because across the board, I've noticed they pick up on a bunch more variations. So maybe you can find a little bit from SEMrush, but I think across the board, with the amount of info that's available for such a small city, you're probably not going to see the tools tell you that you're ranking for it. You're probably going to have to use a traditional SERP tracker to see where does it, like, do a manual pull on that result from that zip code or something to see where it stands. Because that's the other thing that I know was very confusing until I figured it out, that you're just not going to see certain bits of data from the tools sometimes. But yeah.
Well, I was going to just add, early on, yeah, definitely get like a rank tracker, but also watch Search Console. Like, you got to have Google Search Console hooked up. You got to be watching what you're trying to target, but also what Google is actually showing you for and what pages they're showing for those terms, because both of those sides of the data will allow you to understand how Google is crawling and understanding what's on your site, and that's how you can then make more educated decisions. Like, I shouldn't have these pages, or these pages, like even cities, there are a lot of those like little cities that you might target with individual pages might have such little competition. You could have one service page ranked for all those cities.
Exactly.
So, yeah, sorry to just cut you off. There's my bad.
No, that's a good point. Check the competition. Don't build out a process to build a city page for every city and every neighborhood when you could just build one that covers all of them. So yeah, definitely follow the data there. And yeah, I hope that gives value to anybody in that similar position. But again, take a look at, should I be producing these amount of pages given like where this campaign is at, or is that just kind of flooding the search engine with things that are low value? All right, that will do for that section, and then we have reached the end of our episode. Is there anything else from either Mike or Vjosa that you'd want to add before we wrap things up?
No, stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay safe with your methods. Yeah, be careful.
Watch that. Watch AI. It's coming. I mean, I will add this real quick. We're at the point now where you can generate an entire website with AI with a keyword, a click of a button, and have that rank locally.
Oh yeah, look, to some cities that's very all in
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna do it in Chicago or Las Vegas or something, but yeah, literally one keyword, one click of a button, we can now generate websites. By we, I mean not just me and some other, like, I guarantee there's a lot of people out there doing this. And so this kind of stuff is going to affect spam. It's going to affect Google's reaction. It's going to affect it's going to change a lot. So just keep your eyes open.
Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned to all the information you can, because things are moving faster now.
That's right.
All right. Well, that will wrap up the episode for today. Remember to Vjosa, where can somebody find more about you?
Probably the best would be LinkedIn. Yeah.
LinkedIn, and then check the Web20 ranker for any contributions from Vjosa specifically. Just the author section would let you find who's been contributing. But that will be it for this episode. So remember to check us out across all the different mediums that we have in case you want to use a different one. Remember to share this with anybody else that works in the industry. And we would really appreciate any likes, shares in general, and comments, but more so feedback to what we're doing, whether it's this show or whether it's the local SEO course, which I'm adding to continuously. But any of that is appreciated a whole lot. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to watch out for that sale coming out next month. Otherwise, that'll be it for this episode, and we'll see you guys in the next